the final panel of the night tonight. It's going to be a great panel. But I got a question real quick. How many of you guys are going to Hall of Scream tonight? Man, don't raise your hands. Scream real loud. All right, yeah, it's going to be a fun time over there. All right. How many people were at the last panel that we did for the people about to come up here? Raise your hands this time. You guys are in for a treat. Okay. Without further ado, I want to hear you guys make a lot of noise for Teriffier, Lauren Rivera, Elliot Fulham, Leah Boise, Catherine Corkland, Mason McCarty, and John Abrams. Let's make some noise! Hold on for a second. Well, why did only one of you guys come up here? What's going on?
Well, I thought I could maybe sing a little song for everyone before we start.
Do you guys want to sing a little song? I'll get my butt off the stage and she'll just take it over.
Let's go. Yeah.
Is there any specific song that you might want to hear her sing? Man, you guys could do way better than that. Is there a song you want to hear her sing?
Clown Cafe.
Let's chant it for her. Ready? Clown Cafe.
Clown Cafe.
I'm going to get my butt off the stage and let Leah Boise sing her song.
We're doing it a cappella today, so you guys get to hear just the raw vocals, all right? Let's do it. Drop on by the Clown Cafe, your favorite meals on wheels. The menu is disgusting and it's full of special deals. Nothing here is good for you, so grab yourselves a tray, 'cause food's a little funny at the Clown Cafe. Drop on by the Clown Cafe. Drop on by the Clown Cafe. Gobble up your order quick before it runs away, 'cause food's a little funny at the Clown Cafe. Why not visit after school and have yourselves a bite? An appetizing appetizer certain to delight. We haven't done it right unless it makes your teeth decay, 'cause food's a little funny at the Clown Cafe. Drop on by the Clown Cafe. Drop on by the Clown Cafe. The grub is downright gruesome, but your appetites obey, 'cause food's a little funny. Food's a little funny. Food's a little funny at the Clown Cafe.
All right, good job. All right, so let's bring them all out. Lauren Rivera, Elliot Fulham, Leah Boise, Catherine Corcoran, Mason McCarty, and John Abrams from Tampa.
Damn, Leah, you were, dare I say, on fire?
Oh, thank you. I see what you did there.
Hello.
All right, hold on for a second.
Are y'all motherfuckers having fun?
Yeah.
Okay, left side, you having fun?
Yeah.
Right side, you having fun? Oh shit, right side. Left side, you having fun?
Woo!
Right side, you having fun? Oh, I don't know, I think it's a tie. It's a tie. We're gonna go tie on this one.
We're all having fun.
All right, good stuff. All right, so the last time that some of us were on this stage together, Leah and Lauren and Elliot, things have changed just a little bit in the Teriffier world since then, huh? You guys are a little bit more well-known, right? What's it like being like stars now? How are you guys taking all this stardom you've got?
Oh, Jesus. I don't know. It doesn't feel different. I think the only real change for me is more people come and say hi. So I don't know. I just feel grateful, and I'm happy that more people have been corrupted into watching this franchise.
And it's cool to see the different opportunities that we can get, from being in this movie. For me specifically, I guess a big change is the last time I was at this convention, that was the first convention that I had ever done. And now, 2 to 3 years later, because of singing the Clown Cafe and Teriffier 2, I got to be on a Nice 9 Kills track. So that was so crazy.
Elliot, I was turned on to your little punk people from the last panel we did, man. I love when you're doing that stuff, man. That stuff is awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I eventually want to get back to doing all the interviews and stuff, but I've just been making fun Instagram reels and TikToks and stuff talking about music. But to answer your question, it's like an existential crisis. I can't believe it. It's like the Twilight Zone. It's like it doesn't exist.
So we're going to go to the most recent film because every one of you guys can have an opinion on this, whether you were in the film or not. When Terrifier 3 premiered, it was the largest premiere of an independent film ever. Think about what Terrifier 3 is and the kind of the genre that it's in. For it to be the largest premiere ever for an independent film, how did that hit every one of you guys up here? Holy crap, this movie just was the largest independent film in the world ever. What was your thoughts when you found that out? Anybody, whoever wants to jump in. Did you guys even know that it was the largest premiere of an independent film ever?
I definitely knew that. I'm somebody who's worked in mainly independent film for 30 years, and it's awesome. And you would think that the studios would like realize that they don't need a lot of money to make movies well, but they don't seem to realize that, and they just continue to like try to make these, you know, horror films but for mega budgets, and I just don't think they work as well, you know. So I'm excited. I think it's amazing for independent film. Hopefully it translates to a lot more people seeing the monetary value in indie films. You know?
Well, it's the highest grossing unrated film of all time. Is it still? Like, I think the film that beat it, or originally was holding that title, was like a Beyonce concert movie.
Beyonce, I hate that.
That's a bit. We beat Beyonce. Yeah.
We love you, Beyonce. We love you, Beyonce.
We do love Beyonce, but I also think what's really interesting, I mean, Mick Garris sums this up really well. He talks about how the horror industry has always been kind of like the forgotten stepchild of, Ella. Never mind.
No, let's try it.
It happens every time I leave.
Hello?
It doesn't like me.
Better.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Am I right? Thank you. Well, but what I was saying is Mick Garris says it really well, is that like horror has always been kind of the forgotten stepchild of the cinematic world, right? It doesn't really get any respect. It isn't really considered in terms of awards, except for the money that it makes. And time again, it just continues. I think horror movies make on average 3.5 times their budget at the box office. And so what we're seeing now, which is super interesting, is because of you guys actually rallying around these independent films, studios are putting more money into horror films than ever before. So there's more content than ever before, and that means more opportunities for unknown creatives, which is so huge. So thank you guys for that. That's you, that's not us.
Like Laura was saying just earlier, I'm incredibly grateful for all of you. Like, there's not, like you were saying, there's not much budget that goes into even marketing for a horror movie. It's all, you know, word of mouth, especially Terrifier. So once again, thanks to all of y'all.
I was with Damien when we found out it was the #1 movie in America for that week before Smile 2 came and fucked it up for all of us. No, I love Smile. Yeah, I mean, it really is, like Catherine was saying, it's a testament to the fans, like, and especially this franchise. If it wasn't for you, Terrifier 2 wouldn't have been made. I wouldn't be here right now. So we are very fortunate that we get to do what we love, but it's because y'all rally around us and other artists, and especially now more than ever with, you know, robot takeover. Like, we need people like you, and so we can continue to connect to humans. So thank y'all so much for that.
Yeah, there's really no fans like horror fans, you know. Even the fact that these conventions exist, there aren't in other genres, maybe sci-fi, there's these niche conventions, but I really think horror has something special because of the fans and the dedication and like the willingness to like bring us here and meet us and love these films just as much as we do.
I think this question we'll start with Catherine, because I think you probably have the best angle for the next one. Okay, hopefully the microphone doesn't mess you up here. So, Terrifier and Art the Clown went from being a very small indie film to now where Art the Clown is a horror icon alongside Jason and Freddy and Michael Myers and Ghostface. When you guys were making that first film, did you ever have the thought, yeah, this is going to be a horror icon that I'm going to see houses at theme parks and all that based on?
Absolutely not. Never in a million years. In fact, when we were doing the hacksaw scene, Damien said to me, "Are you ready to make horror movie history?" And I looked at him and I said, "You're an idiot. No one is going to watch these stupid movies." And here we are. So I don't know what that says about me on multiple levels. The fact that I did it anyway. But yeah, I know, we had no idea. In fact, most of that film, Jen and I are really good friends in real life, and so is Sam and I. But we all didn't meet until I met Jenna on the set, but I didn't meet Sam until after. And Jenna and I, we were on studio films at the time. I was on this boxing biopic with Naomi Watts, and she was on the Bye Bye Man with Doug Jones, and they had to shoot around us. So we both almost passed. So unless you see us side by side on screen together, we're not acting with each other. And in that hacksaw scene in particular, Jenna had no idea what she was reacting to because we weren't there together, and vice versa. So a lot of it has been we've discovered. I only saw the whole movie all the way through recently. What? Yeah, I hadn't seen it all the way through. So it's kind of an interesting, I don't know, no, genuinely no idea. And I'm still amazed that you guys care at all. It's wild.
Well, since you brought it up, I'm going to direct this one to you and to Mason. You guys both get to get famously dismembered while famously naked. So a couple of questions for you on that. First, when you were presented, for both of you, when you presented these scenes, were you like, are you freaking serious? This is what you're gonna do? Or were you like, yes, this is awesome, I get to be killed away? I think you already answered a little bit, Catherine, about the way you presented it. What about for you, Mason? When you got your kill scene, were you like, yes, this is awesome, or really?
Yeah, that was interesting because my audition process for Teriffier was really dialogue focused. It was very, here, talkie this, talkie that. I think that the first audition was sides from. No, so it was really standard. It didn't feel freaky or anything, and yeah, no, Phil didn't do that. But no, it was really it was exciting because I had made it through the audition process, and Damien had just emailed me a one-sheet PDF and was like, let me know what your thoughts are on this. So I have not seen any blood, guts, or gore, or whatever, in any of the audition sites, but it was just a one-sheet PDF of just the shower kill, and I was like, what's that? Yeah, it was like he had just took a screenshot of the page in the script for me to read it. And at this time I had not seen the movies. So I was aware of the kill scene in the bedroom in Terrifier 2, and it scared me to death. I almost said no because it scared me. And so I'm so glad I did, because I really fell in love with the franchise. But yeah, no, his one-page PDF really freaked me out, but I knew he would do it really good. I knew it was going to be cool. I had a Zoom meeting with him, and yeah, I just knew that he was going to really do it in a great way, and it was going to be awesome to horror fans and to the horror film genre community. So yeah, I got really excited because it scared me, but it was really exciting.
Now, for any of the
23? 23? Super great. I don't know if you heard that. He was 23. That's so great.
So, thank you. Oh my God, I was 23. Oh, which one?
Oh, we just couldn't hear her. That was all. She was asking.
Oh. I don't know why I didn't switch room. Here you go.
He was 23 when they filmed.
Yeah, I just think that's super brave. I think it's such a risk to take to do nudity super young. I can say that from experience. It's a really scary thing to do, especially in something like this that's like really guerrilla style. It's like super brave to take it on. It's such a brave act of Mason. Really.
I was 22. I did it wrong.
So four of you on stage have died and are actually dead in Teriffier. Were you on stage when your prosthetic version of you got killed? Leah, we know you've got your famous being on fire scene.
Yeah, I watched that whole thing happen. It was so cool to see. I'd never seen a stunt like that. So it was really interesting just to see everything that goes into it, all the prep, all the safety meetings. The fire department was there, but they ran like a well-oiled machine. I know Jenna Helmuth was the name of my stunt double. She doubled for you as well. She's so talented. That was really exciting to get to see.
What about for the other three? Were you guys on stage when all the prosthetic work was done, or did you see that scene after the fact only?
I was upside down for 10 hours, so I don't know if I remember.
You don't know if you remember anything, right? Wow, 10 hours.
I don't know. I did see the body of myself. I saw that, but I don't know if I actually saw him getting cut out because they had to take me down because I thought I was going to throw up. Because at hour 10 in 20 degrees hanging from your ankle, your body starts to shut down.
Don't you still have issues because of that too?
Yeah, I still have I used to sing and I don't sing anymore because I can't hear harmony. And I can, but I can't Leo, this is a music thing that me and Elliot will be able to explain. Your eardrum kind of vibrates musicians out there when you're harmonizing. I can't, I don't feel that anymore. And I had to have a minor procedure to put my eardrum back. This one they cut into and this one they just I don't know. Honestly, but I do. No, actually, I don't know. I do remember getting on the ferry afterwards at 6 o'clock in the morning, going back to New York City from Staten Island, and there was no heat and no running water, so I was still pink, and my hair was still bloody, and they put a bathrobe on me and my winter coat, and David still had the black under his eyes. We're just sitting on the ferry while all these Wall Street people are getting on, going to work, and nobody was concerned at all.
It's Staten Island. You fit right in.
Upsetting than anything else. And I got back to my apartment and I had to share the laundry room, and there was this girl who used to leave her wet clothes in the washing machine, and I took her clothes out and put my bloody clothes in and left her a note. Sorry, had to get the blood out and went to bed.
What about you, John? Were you on set was there any part of your death scene that was, were you not on set, or were you there for the entire thing?
Oh no, I was there for the whole shebang. I'm a makeup effects nerd, and I used to go to horror conventions when I was a kid and follow Tom Savini around, and that's how me and Damien sort of bonded when we first met. So I was like, there's no way in hell I'm not going to be here for all of this. And my kill is animatronic, right? So we did it in stages, and then the last stage was a robot version of me, basically. And it was amazing to watch. But it kind of looked like Ronald Reagan when it was just sitting there. And anyway, I have lots of photographs of me and my animatronic double.
Yours is so convincing to watch. There's one moment where it's peeling. Is that you actually?
That's what it is. Yeah,
what was that prosthetic? Were you wearing a bald cap and you had the fake hair or something?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, we did a bald cap and then fake hair so that they could split it open. It had blood pumps in my scalp. And so, yeah. Yeah.
Wasn't that team, that effects team, also did like Westworld, right? And like a bunch of other
Passion of the Christ. Yeah, they're Oscar winners.
The Passion of the Christ and Terrifier.
The crown that I wear is made by the same people that made the crown in the Passion of the Christ.
That is right.
It is true. That is a fact.
Lauren is Jesus.
I am the second coming, my children.
So Laura, now that we're back to you, so technically you're a final girl, but I would say you're more like Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween. Because you are an absolute badass in Terrifier 2 and Terrifier 3, just like Jamie Lee Curtis. How do you feel your character is different and set apart from other final girls or other horror icons like Jamie Lee Curtis?
Well, first of all, being in the same sentence as Jamie Lee Curtis is such an honor. Halloween 1978 is my favorite horror film of all time, and I watch it a lot. I think really what sets Sienna apart. Wait, but Jamie Lee Curtis did die. Okay, Halloween is confusing because like she died, but it has different storylines, right? Like, so technically she didn't die. It's confusing. Anyway, Sienna did die, and that is canon, and I think that's what sets her apart. Like, I think it's a horror franchise that dares to say, what if the final girl was immortal too? Just like the slasher. So I really think that's what sets Sienna apart. And she's got a magic sword. So that's like kind of unique, right? Yeah.
All right, so,
Okay.
so we're gonna go down the line. So Elliot, I got one for you. So when Terrifier 2 was filmed, you were quite young. How involved were your parents during the filming? So that's the first part of it.
Oh, I mean, my parents loved it. They're actually here this weekend, so they actually raised me on horror, and I actually also grew up going to horror conventions, and they used to be vendors as well. So they loved it. They were watching every single thing. They were pushing for more on every telling David, no, put the syringe closer to his neck, like just like everything.
So the second part of this question is, again, when you filmed Terrifier 2, you were quite young. Now that you are a grown-ass man, do you look back and are you like, I'm looking back at this and I feel it in my heart, and this is such a proud moment? Or do you look back and go, man, my entire life there's going to be a shot of me being like 12, 13 years old in a horror movie? Like, how do you feel about that being a part of what's going to follow you for the rest of your life?
It honestly is nostalgia. When I look back, even when we do these horror conventions and I see people dressed up as Sienna, and I'm like, oh my god, like this is insane. Like looking at the pictures, and there's so many memories from that set, but also I learned a lot about acting. I learned a lot from this over here. He's gave me advice on acting that I will carry for the rest of my life. Honestly, it was my #1 goal to be in a horror movie, so it's something I'm extremely proud of and honored, to be honest with you.
That's right, you've already peaked.
I don't know.
All right, so Leah, I'm going to come back down there to you. So, although Elliot and Lauren are the stars in Terrifier 2, you actually get to play 2 roles. You had to have 2 completely different characters. Did you have more fun in the Clown Cafe, or did you have more fun being able to hang out with Chris Jericho?
Ooh, I get this question a lot, and it's such a hard question for me to answer because the Clown Cafe scene was so much fun for so many different reasons. We were there shooting for like a week. A bunch of us were just like staying in this house together, so it had like slumber party vibes, you know, getting to watch all the different kill scenes. I was actually helping them because I was like wrapped one day, and they were doing some of the like gunshot prosthetics, and the way that they were doing that is they like run tubes up people's clothes, and then someone's down underneath like blowing blood out the hole. I was like, I'll help with that, you know. So I was just kind of like lending hands where I can and just like having the best time. But the nurse scene was like just a grounded acting scene. So I think as an actor, it was like a little bit more rewarding in that sense. And I will be 1000% honest with everybody sitting here that I did not know who Chris Jericho was. I knew that he was a wrestler, and I reached out to my cousin who's like a big fan, and she was like super excited about it. And So I went into it, knowing a little bit about wrestling and saying, wrestling is acting, but it's very over the top acting. Will this wrestler be able to sell a very grounded scene between two coworkers that have known each other a long time and kind of just like vibing? And yeah, like I felt very connected in that scene. Sometimes when you're acting, the cameras disappear and you're just in it and you're just talking to each other, and that's what I felt that scene was. So I can't really answer which one was my favorite because they were so different for me. But as far as my like acting reel goes, the nurse scene is a better show of my acting skills, whereas the Clown Cafe scene is more of a show of my singing voice than my acting skills.
So while my partner in Symmetry Creation, Steph, is going to come up here, she's going to come up to the mic in just a second. While she's coming up here, I've got another question for Elliot down there. So David Howard Thornton is one of the nicest people that you'll ever meet. You guys may see Art the Clown if you've never met him or seen him out of costume. One of the nicest, most unassuming human beings you'll ever meet. Really, really love the guy. And obviously everybody here is going to deal with him. So my original question was going to be if you guys could share like some kind of memory that you have with him. But Elliot said he has a story he wants to share with each and every one of you about when David Howard Thornton pranked him in the bathroom. Sir, explain this story.
Actually, it's happened multiple times. There's this trend sometimes when we go to horror conventions, he'll just, like, I'll be going to the bathroom or wherever, and then all of a sudden I just hear, "Hey, oh, Elliot, and it's David. Yeah, it scares me every single time.
Why is David following you to the bathroom?
He also had to go.
If it makes you feel any better, I was in the airport in Shreveport, Louisiana, and I had a run-in with David as well. So it's like, I don't know what it is, but yeah, it just...
Why is David hiding in bathroom?
I have no idea, but it definitely tripped me out. I was like, yeah, I didn't realize I could tell people. I was like, yeah, I just kind of had a run-in with Art the Clown in the bathroom in Shreveport. I mean, what can you really say to that?
You mean this is a normal thing?
I guess it is. So you guys better all watch out there. You never know what might happen.
I met him in the bathroom too, but we filmed it.
I don't think my situation or Elliot's situation had anything like to do with yours. At least I hope not, Elliot. All right, so real quick.
Ask, where are Elliot's pants?
Does anybody else have a fun moment, whether it's in costume or out of costume, that you want to share about your time with David Howard Thornton? Not in a bathroom.
He's fart. We had a fart competition on Teriffier too, but that's not in the bathroom. That was outside of the bathroom.
I've shared a motel room with David Howard Thornton. There was one night on Teriffier where they got us. Well, they said it was a hotel. Wrong. Incorrect. Not a hotel. Very active motel, if you know what I'm saying. And we couldn't check in until we were exhausted. We wrapped at 6 a.m., but we couldn't check in until 3 p.m. Finally, we get into the hotel room. I was probably younger than you when I was doing Teriffier, but just barely. And I go into the bathroom and there is actual blood splatter on the wall. I am terrified.
Unintended.
I Google the motel, has a bed bug problem. Excellent. David, so I am freaking out. I have my winter jacket on. I pull it up, full hazmat, zip it up. David, unfazed, pulls out a pair of matching jammies, like the jammies, with like the pattern, puts them on, gets under the covers, out cold. Honk shoe, me. David, I'm in the other bed, terrified. Jenna went into New York City for like a meeting or something, so I'm trying to find us like somewhere else to sleep because I'm freaking out. And I pass out while I'm like trying to do this on my phone. Meanwhile, everybody else goes to bed. Jenna returns from the city to the active parking lot. Can't find anyone. She calls me. I wake up stick my head out the door like a caterpillar in my thing, and beckon her to the room. She comes over, she goes, "What is happening?" And I say to her, "I am not getting under the covers. You can do what you want. David is over there. The choice is yours." And so she looked at David, looked at me, looked back at David, zipped up her coat, and we laid next to each other on top of the bed in our winter coats. David somehow did not get bed bugs. It's still a mystery to me.
So Lauren, I want to kind of direct this to you a little bit differently. So you've had to be on set with David for 2 full movies in some very physically demanding ways, and in some ways that you have to really have trust in another actor, because even if it's prop swords and prop weapons, you guys are having to do some very physical things together. Walk us through the kind of relationship you have with him when it comes to being on set and having to trust that other human being.
Well, in Teriffier 2, we accidentally got each other with a cat o' nine tails a few times. If you remember, and in horror fashion, I wasn't wearing a lot of clothes, as a lot of women don't in horror. So every time he hit me with the cat of nine tails, even though it wasn't actually sharp, I'm still getting whipped. But I got my revenge, and when I actually do whip him, I got his lip. Like, if you remember, there's a moment where she just whips him, and oh my God, I would do that every day of my life. That was so much fun. I love hitting people. And he got whipped in the lip, and he was just like, ow. You know how Dave sounds. And that was spot on, right? And in the third, the chainsaw, even though it didn't have blades, it was still on. So I would still get scratches on my hand because I was still holding a real sword, by the way. That was a real sword. And it was dulled, but still, you can still get hurt. Luckily, we did have a wonderful stunt double for Dave, who we did do a lot of the stuff together. And I actually had to grab his crotch, which was very funny. I didn't grab Dave's crotch, which I was grateful for because I love him and I don't want to grab his crotch. And I remember telling the guy, the stunt double, I was like, "You're wearing a cup, right?" And he was like, No. I'm like, "Please put on a cup. Please wear a cup." But the times that I did do it with Dave, I did my own fighting stunts. He didn't do a lot of it. He did a lot of the facial expressions. So it was just him laughing in my face, if you remember, most of the time. So we're just looking angry at each other, which was a lot of fun. But with Dave, it's always easy to work with him. He's just a silly guy. He's just making jokes, and we have a lot of trust. I was just telling Elliot, we did Terrifier 2 6 years ago. That was 6 years we filmed that movie. It took forever to come out because it's an independent horror film, and we kept running out of money and all that stuff. But we've known each other for, the better part of a decade. So we all have immense trust in each other. And I think Catherine could even speak to that more because she's been in this franchise much longer. And that's just what happens when you work with people that you know and love. You just continue to develop trust, and Dave was just, and continues to be, an easy actor to work with.
Yeah, it's interesting. We're going on 10 years next year since Teriffier. 10 years since we filmed this year. And that was Dave's first film. So it's interesting because I don't have that I don't have the length, the breadth of working together that you guys have. Although for the Iceland Kills video, that's the first time David and I were back in a scenario like that since the hacksaw scene, actually. And I didn't so we'd done pickups and things, but never together. And I didn't think it would be emotional for me, but it was. And it was for him too. And someone filmed it and sent it to Damien, and he's like, "I'm crying." It was really actually weirdly cute and fucked up all at the same time.
I had a funny, Lauren, I kind of empathize with my experience of getting physical with David was interesting because half of the shots, that sounds awesome. Well, so in the shower scene, that chainsaw was dulled, of course, but it was still sharp, and the stunt guys were really good at like, here, I got it on my arm, and they're like making it go, and they're like, yeah, it's not gonna hurt you, and I'm like, okay, cool. Right. But when David initially breaks through the glass, somebody told me on set, they're like, yeah, David's hand-eye coordination's not great.
Not good. Not good.
So I was like, oh, awesome. Well, yeah, he's gonna like throw it at me, and I gotta catch it somehow. And they're like, yeah. It was, yeah. But eventually, what honestly made that really hard to film was only some of like the 2 shots where like I'm in frame, like holding the chainsaw, and so is David. Like we filmed a lot of that, but some of like the close-ups of me was literally Steve with no Art the Clown makeup on his face. Yeah. So it was just bald guy, like no facial like. So I was just like staring at a dude that was so not Art the Clown. It was very funny. Bald man, love him. Steve's awesome.
No, like Catherine was saying earlier, like that's just the nature of filmmaking. You're not always actually looking at your scene partner. In fact, most of the time you're not. Like people love the abracadabra scene with Sienna and Art the Clown, where we're reacting off each other. We weren't in the same room when we did that. When he's putting on the glasses, when I'm looking scared, we're both looking at nothing. So a lot of the times when we're working with Dave, we're not actually working with Dave. Like Steve Della Sala is just because he has better coordination.
Yeah, he's good at throwing chainsaws.
He's good at throwing chainsaws. Yeah, it's just the nature of filmmaking.
All right, we always want to try to get a couple of audience questions. So because it's a large panel and because there's not a whole lot of time, so Steph has actually got the microphone back there. So you guys are going to raise your hands. We're probably only going to get to a couple of questions. So raise your hands. I'm just trying to see if we can pick some people out here. Do you guys have any questions for anybody up here? I know that, okay, back in the back over there, we got a question. You see the row right there? There you go. Raise your hand up really high.
Right behind you.
There you go, right there.
Okay, never mind.
Right there.
Turn around. Okay.
Got the gauntlet or the skull. There you go. There you go.
It's great.
All right, what's your name? What's your question?
Hi, my name is Patrick. So the concept of the smell of the movies has come up in a few things I've seen. There's feces and blood and a lot of other things, mystery fluids. What did the movies like, what do they smell like on set? Like, what was that like?
CO from working really hard?
Film, it smelled terrible. Those are actual condemned and abandoned buildings. Everywhere we shot, it smelled absolutely terrible. I would think the second was similar, right? Because you guys were in like a warehouse or something? Like, actually, I liked it.
It wasn't that bad for us.
No, I think Catherine has had the worst of every single part of this franchise.
I'm just trying to exist here.
Yes, it was an abandoned, I don't know what it was, mental hospital in Staten Island.
That's where we shot the hacksaw
same
scene.
place.
It smells.
Wait, is it abandoned? Because we
Condemned.
shot a mental
Condemned.
Oh, condemned.
We all
Condemned.
I shot it at a hospital, but I thought it was a working hospital.
Yeah.
I don't know. Could've
No,
been
we
a
shot at
location.
Snug Harbor. I was going to say it smells like Axe body spray because that's what David Howard Thornton wears.
All right, Steph, you got another question right there?
Hello. So I have a question for you, for the whole cast. Do you ever think about the heavier moral themes of Terrifier franchise? And if you do, you think it's about good on evil, or power of love versus absolute evil? Anything about Christianity, or your thoughts?
I think so. I think it's very much just at its bare bones, good versus evil. And there's certainly Christian themes that people either love or hate. But yeah, I think Damien has always been kind of fascinated with Grecian epics. He even, when he told me about Sienna, when I booked Terrifier 2, he even said he was writing an epic, a Grecian epic. And he's very inspired by the Bible, Christianity, religion in general. So maybe we'll find out more in the fourth. I don't know if you guys have thoughts about this.
presume to speak for Damien or what his vision is or what goes on in his mind at all. I think one of the things I've started to realize that's really interesting is, he's obviously such a huge fan of this genre of like the 80s kind of slasher genre, 70s, 80s. But what's so like kind of, and you see that in the characters and like the different things he like pulls from. But I think what's so fascinating about him is like everything you think is going to happen, like the pre-established rules of the genre, he does the complete opposite, right? Like you think he's not going to go there, you think he's not going to show something, and he shows it. Sometimes it's like 10 minutes long, it just goes on forever. You know what I mean? Like you think he's not going to go there. You think like at least in the original, there's like, oh, there's this final girl character. Whoops, we kill her in the middle. You think that there's like this supernatural, it's just a slasher, there's supernatural elements. You think he's like a serial killer from these movies, and he like just pulls out a gun. And I mean, like, love it or hate it, it's like he just completely upends the rules of the genre. And I think that there is something super interesting and super like thoughtful about that. Whether you love that or hate that, that's such a unique choice. Similar to, interestingly, there's a lot of ghost-based like Scream and stuff like that. Like the reason Scream is, in my opinion, is so poignant is like it's a self-aware reference of the genre, if that makes sense. And Damien is, whether he's intending to or not, it's incredibly self-aware, I think.
All right, I think we have time for probably one or two more questions. Steph, come over here to the guy right on the aisle that's got his hand up.
John had brought up Tom Savini, who, in my opinion, is one of the greatest practical effects, special effects guy that's out there. Now, you guys, with this director, it's all practical effects. He's not using computer animation and CGI to do things. What do you guys prefer in your guys' world of work? And I'm sure you wouldn't like to be doused with, blood all the time, but it does lend to be more realistic when it's a practical effect. So what's your opinion on it?
Would you guys rather use practical effects, or you would rather have some people just, let's just CGI this body on fire scene?
I think it's a mix of both. I mean, I think with whatever tool is best for the job. I don't think we should be like AIing, certain things onto each other. Absolutely not. But like, if you talk to any effects master, Tom Savini included, they will tell you, you do what is best to sell the authenticity of the shot, and most of the time that is a hybrid of both. Although on an artist level, I think there's artistry in both. They are both master artists, the people who craft like CGI work and effects in post. They are like master kind of manipulators of things like that. I gave an example of the last show we were at. I did a film where the effects team had done Teriffier 3, and my leg is actually David's neck, because that artist didn't have a scan of my leg, so to double it, he had to like get creative and they're all artists. But I think what is unfortunate is that in the attempts to save cost and time, people have pivoted away from practical sculpts, which are just so necessary. The reason that films like The Lord of the Rings, for example, still hold, decades later, is because they're based in a hybrid of practical and CGI. The second they lean into full CGI, you can date the project, if that makes sense. And I hate to see real artists being replaced with cost-effective fixes that don't hold. It gets rid of their jobs, and they're such masters and all unique. Tom, is amazing, but there's also like Greg Nicotero, who's also incredible from The Walking Dead. Chris Nelson, who's also incredible. Like the masters go on, they all have very different styles that like are telltale things. I don't know.
Lauren, what about you? Since you're the one that is having to deal with the most amount of practical versus CGI in there, are there some things you'd rather just see done CGI? You're like, nope, let me do practical all the way.
Well, I fully agree with everything Catherine just said. My brother-in-law works for Weta, in New Zealand, which he does practical effects, and he's an incredibly talented artist, and I respect that so much. I think Catherine was saying, on an artistic level, there is a more sense of groundedness to seeing something physical right in front of you, and it's visceral when you see a tube being shoved in vomit. You remember, and yeah, I prefer practical just as an artist because I like seeing things in front of me. However, Damien, there's two different kinds of blood, and Damien really loves to use the sticky blood because he finds it more vibrant. And anybody who has long hair can sympathize with me. Imagine having sticky blood on your face and your hair hardening and getting stuck. And my sword kept getting stuck to my hand. So when I had to like throw it, I'm constantly trying to like get this sword off me. It is very uncomfortable. So I in those cases, I hate Damien and curse him internally, and I'm hoping for CGI. However, I do want to sell the moment, and we will do anything to help sell the story. So I guess, what was the question? Yeah. Practical is better, but also fuck practical because it's really annoying.
And speaking on the practical effects from Teriffier, I will correct that, like, while all of the effects were mostly practical, there was some CGI that went into the finishing touches of it, and it's actually the same artist that Catherine was just talking about with the neck versus leg. His name's Josh Petrino. He did some of the post special effects, but everything was grounded in it was grounded in practical effects, and then he added some CGI here and there. I think in Terrifier 2 specifically, it was Allie's kill was mostly practical, but her eyes, they needed to CGI. So even if you're in the moment and you're there, you're still, as an actor, getting that visceral reaction and then using CGI to enhance that. I think the two can work really well together, but practical effects, I think, will always be better than CGI, especially if CGI is just used on its own. I think that they can complement each other really well, but practical effects is absolutely where it should start.
It's very rare that you're seeing any movie made from like 1982 on that isn't a hybrid of both. That's like a big misconception, and they're all unique artists with different skill sets. But there are, like, again, pluses and advantages to certain types of practical too. Like Lauren is saying, like Ultra Slime. If you've ever, like, anyone, I don't know if any of you guys have worked on a film where you've had to use Ultra Slime. It's terrible. Like, you are stuck to whatever you're stuck that you can't move. But then there's also, like, on the Ice Nine Kills video, for example, like that effects artist was Chris Nelson. That was the easy. I come from like the world of indie, like film and stuff, where like I learned how to take green and red off my skin with shaving cream. Like that's the hack. That's how you get it off. When I worked with Chris Nelson, it was insane to me to be like, oh my God, this comes immediately off. Like there's no like scrubbing or anything. It just was like, and it still looked amazing. Like, so I don't know. It's everyone is unique and brings different things to it, you know?
Yeah, and even that was a combination of practical and CGI effects, especially for me in the Ice Nine Kills music video. My face was a prosthetic, so that was all on me, but my eyes were CGI, so I did not have contacts in. They said, keep your eyes wide, don't blink them, and then so in post it was very easy for them to just wipe the eyes out, and people don't know that. People don't know that that's CGI. But if the prosthetic was also CGI, it would probably be very noticeable, but using those two together, it made this like really epic thing.
All right, so we're gonna have to wrap. I do have one question as we wrap, and then we're gonna get the picture with the artist up here. We're gonna be ready to go. So, Damien Leone has said that Terrifier 4 should be, in his mind, the potential wrap of this arc. That's his words. If anybody up here, one of you guys pick, could fantasy book how you wrap up Terrifier 4 in your own mind, how would you do it?
I'm coming back from the dead. That's how I do it.
Yeah, I'm so back into one.
I want a conveyor belt of castration. That's what I want.
We all just gang up on Art the Clown.
Yes. Oh my God, all of his victims.
Yeah, all the dead people come back and kill him.
I kind of have an idea of how Terrifier 4 will end. Damien told me. I don't know if he's changed it. I don't know if he's changed it since he told me when I booked Terrifier 2. And personally, if he does this, I'd be very happy. I'm excited with the idea that he's given me. So, but I don't know if that's the case. He's writing it right now, and he's kept us completely in the dark. But I wouldn't mind if that's how it ended.
All right, so we're gonna have to wrap it up. We're gonna get the cast picture with everybody in front. So let's give a big, huge round of applause for John, Macy, Catherine, Elliot, Lauren, and Leah from Teriffier.
Thank you all for coming out.
Thank you.